Let me ask you something honestly. Whatever happened to common sense? I'm talking about a simple things. Knowing when to slow down. Paying attention instead of staring at the phone. Treating people with basic respect. Listening before reacting. Thinking before speaking. Today, people are exhausted, anxious, and overwhelmed. Yet, we keep pushing harder instead of stopping to think. We rush through meals. We rush through conversations. We rush through life. Common sense used to mean rest when you're tired. Don't say anything you think. Care for your body. Be honest. Take responsibility for your actions. Somewhere along the way, we replaced that with noise, speed, and distraction. I'm a woman over 60, and I watched this change happen, not from judgment, but from living. Today, I want to talk about what common sense really is, why we have lost it, and what God say about it in a simple, everyday way. So, why does it feel like common sense is disappearing? It's not because people are bad. It's because life has changed. We are constantly distracted. Phones, news, noise, opinions, always pulling our attention away from where we are. When we never present, we cannot think clearly. Another reason is busyness. We wear being busy like a badge of honor. But when everything is rushed, nothing is thoughtful. Common sense requires pause. And the most people don't pause anymore. We also more stressed than ever. Stress puts the body in the survival mode. When you are just trying to get through the day, wisdom takes the back seat. And here's something we don't talk about enough. Many people grow up without elders guiding them. They used to be parents, grandparents, neighbors. People who corrected you, taught you, and passes down life wisdom. Now many are learning from screens instead of life experience. And finally, this is important. We moved it away from God's wisdom. When life becomes self-focused, instead of God's center. Decisions become reactive, emotional, and short-sighted. The Bible says wisdom begins with acknowledging God. When that foundation is missing, common sense weakens. None of this makes people foolish. It makes them disconnected. So, what does God actually call common sense? In the Bible, it's called wisdom, understanding, and self-judgment. Not intelligence, not education, but the ability to live well day to day. God's wisdom shows up in very practical ways. Knowing when to speak and when to stay quiet. Choosing honesty even when it costs you. Not reacting out of anger. Taking care of your body. Living within your limits. The Bible says wisdom protects us. It guards our heart. It keeps us from unnecessary trouble. God never meant wisdom to be complicated. It meant to guide everyday choices. Jesus thought this kind of common sense all the time. He said, "You can tell a tree by its fruit." In other words, choices have consequences. If something is producing stress, confusion, or harm, it's worth paying attention. God's wisdom is quiet. It does not shout. It does not rush. It shows up as a nudge to slow down, to tell the truth, to walk away, or to choose peace instead of being right. That's what common sense looks like when God is a part of the picture. So, how do we return to common sense? Not by changing the whole world, but by changing how we live day to day. The first thing is slowing down. You cannot make wise decisions when everything is rushed. Even God rested. Slowing down, give your mind room to think and your heart room to feel. The second thing is paying attention. Notice how your body feels. Notice your reactions. Notice when something feels off. Common sense often shows up as awareness. The third thing is responding instead of reacting. You don't have to say everything you think. You don't have to react everything you feel. Silence is often wisdom. Another important step is living honestly with yourself, with others, with God. When we ignore the truth, even a small truth, confusion grows. And finally, invite God into everyday moments, not just in prayer time, but while driving, cooking, working, and resting. Ask simple questions. Is this wise? Is this loving? Is this necessary? Common sense is not lost forever. It returns when we choose presence, honestly, and humility. The good news is wisdom has a way to returning when we slow down and pay attention. It shows up in everyday choices, how we speak, how we listen, and how we care for ourselves and others. My hope for you today is peace in your decisions, clarity in your thought, and may your common sense find its way back home.